I guess the map wasn't visible. So this is the map, and what we are seeing here is the middle, lower and upper Paleolithic regions. We can see the Didwana region in Rajasthan, the Nevasa region we can see here, it is in Maharashtra. There is a Gangapur region in Maharashtra which belongs to the middle Paleolithic period. So there are different sites which belong not just to, so when they H.D. Sankalia came up with the Nevasian industry, he thought that it would be limited to the Nevasa region and the Godavari region, but we can see that the middle Paleolithic sites are distributed throughout India, from north to south to east to west. So now let us come back to the Unit 3, which is Hunting Gathering Societies, Paleolithic Life Phase and Settlement Patterns. So the first thing that we are going to learn about the Paleolithic life phase and the hunting gathering society is their climatic conditions. In which conditions did they actually live? So the Paleolithic culture flourished in the geological era called the Pleistocene. So the Pleistocene era climatically is characterized by the glacial period and the interglacial period. So a glacial period is extremely cold conditions and interglacial period is warm period. So the Pleistocene era is characterized by both these conditions.
Early human population lived in major parts of the temperate zone, that is in Europe, and tropical zone, that is Africa and Asia. And they successfully adapted to these climatic events and environments. Now, let us come to the types of environment niches occupied by the early humans. In Paleolithic period, we see that evidence indicates that people lived close to water bodies, sources of food, and stone. These were small hunting gathering communities who exploited the rich flora and fauna for their needs. The stone tools were important elements in their daily life, which they
Chopping, cutting, scraping, piercing, slicing, etc. Some of some of these activities were related to craft work and others to subsistence. Microware analysis conducted on these tools indicates different types of activities with which these tools are associated. Now let us study their social formation. So the organization of early societies would have been in the form of bands of people. These were small communities of less than 100 people moving from one place to another in search for game and plant food. So what they mean by the word game is that in search of animals to hunt, because hunting is also known as big game hunting. The frequent roaming would have restricted the size of the group, as children would have been an impediment to movement. Impediment means children would have been an obstacle, like it would be very hard to travel with children. Thus, population sizes would have been by necessity very small. It is generally thought that hunter-gatherers group lived a hand-to-mouth existence without much time for leisure activities, like their hand work only to feed their mouth, that is it. But this is a big misunderstanding. Paleolithic hunter gatherers probably did not store food beyond a point, so they lacked suitable technology because they didn't have refrigerators like us, so they couldn't store food for a very long period of time. So once they had obtained sufficient amount of food, their subsistence related activities would stop and they would have ample time. They would have more than enough time to sleep, play, chat, draw, and relax. Let us study the economic organization. So, the entire Paleolithic stage was characterized by a simple economic organization which consisted of hunting of wild animals and gathering of wild plant food. Based upon this widely accepted premise that various ecological and geographical zones of India supported rich animal life and vegetation in the Pleistocene period. Since the middle of the last century, large collection of fossil fauna of mammals have been obtained along with stone tools from the Narmada, Godavari, Krishna and other rivers. So these findings give rise to the interpretation that early humans were exploiting wild cattle, deer and other mammals for food purposes. Now, D.D. Kosambi pointed out in 1965 that Stone Age communities of tropical zones like India would have extensively made use of wild plant foods like fruits, berries, seeds, roots. Prehistorians now realize the importance of looking for plant remains from Stone Age sites. Now let us study the gender roles. The roles of men and women in the prehistoric period, especially in the Paleolithic period. So, ethnographic studies on modern day hunter gatherer communities have shown that gathering is a major part of their dietary needs because hunting is usually very the possibility of getting a animal to feed the entire family or they or the entire band is very less probable, like the probability is very less that they will hunt very well every single time. So gathering was a major part of their dietary needs and it was usually the woman who did the gathering and men did the hunting. So in the Paleolithic time too, we realize that women must have played an important role by contributing in major way to the subsistence base of the Paleolithic people. Now let us study the non-utilitarian behavior of the Paleolithic people. The lower Paleolithic groups had cognitive and artistic abilities as well as abilities for personal ornamentation. It has been pointed out that the preparation of hand axe and cleavers reflects the employment of developed cognitive principle. Developed cognitive abilities are also reflected in many aspects of land use. Engravings found on the rock slabs of Bhimbetka, Darki Chatan, and other caves in central India have been interpreted by archaeologists as artistic creation of the Acherulian people. There is some evidence of body decoration too. A few red ochre like pieces were found at the Acherulian sites of Hunski and Baichbal valleys. They were probably procured from the vicinity and used for body smearing.